Welcome to our exploration of the future of technology, where we delve into the transformative power of artificial intelligence. Today, we are focusing on generative AI, a groundbreaking tool reshaping industries by automating creativity and innovation. We'll also uncover how digital transformation is accelerating the evolution of smart manufacturing, leading industries toward unprecedented efficiency and customization. As we step into the world of smart manufacturing, where AI meets real-world applications, creating a smarter, more sustainable future. Before we start, remember to add your comment. Your feedback is very important. Like and subscribe to this channel. All your comments will be read and also will be very helpful also to see what the topics of interest are regarding our discussion. So thank you very much for being here. So today we are here with Rockwell Automation. We're here with a leader from Rockwell Automation, and I'm very excited. I'm very grateful to have the presence of Andrew here. So Andrew, please tell us about yourselves.
Great. Hey, Harold, thanks again for having me on your show, and I look forward to seeing the comments and engagement from those that watch. But I'm Andrew Hastert. I'm based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm married to my wife, Zoe, and I have 2 young daughters. And I work at a leader at Rockwell Automation, the world's largest company dedicated to industrial automation and productivity. And we build automation systems, software, the infrastructure to bring the systems into the software. And that software growingly is evolving to not only serve more and more people and functions in companies, but growingly adopting AI. But I think there's a misnomer, that AI and robots are replacing jobs. And we're our mission is kind of turning that on its ear. We believe Rockwell Automation is expanding human possibility. As we automate systems and leverage AI, we're giving people superpowers when we're enabling them to go do more creative work and get out of the dark, dirty, dangerous, repetitive work. So that's me and what I do at Rockwell.
That's awesome. And thank you for your introduction and for sharing also these initial thoughts that are very important for what we are going to discuss today, because Rockwell Automation just released the 9th state-of-the-art safe manufacturing report that offer valuable insights for manufacturers and industry leaders. Can you share some of the report's key findings, particularly those that address pressing industry concerns? And what actionable steps can manufacturers take to leverage these findings for success?
For sure. Yeah, at Harold, as you know, we launched this report some time ago and send it out every year. And we always take a little risk when you send out a report asking real customers for what's really important to them, because you hope they say it's stuff that you can do to help them. But the risk is, they may have different priorities. But I'd say some insights that came out of it that were a little bit, in some ways surprising, in some ways not. Sustainability went from maybe a lower priority or maybe something people did on the side to suddenly a very high priority for manufacturing companies. And they're looking to reduce the energy they consume in their own facilities, reduce the scrap and waste. But it's really driven by their customers who are asking to track the amount of energy that's going into the material, going into the product, how it gets from the manufacturing facility through the supply chain, through the customer. There's regions like Europe that are putting this into law and into standards like ESPR. So sustainability went from a side project to a very high priority. We're seeing also for people to get the sustainability data, they need to future-proof their plants and update the automation and the data systems in the facility so they can get that sustainability data out of the plant, unlock it, and give it to the rest of their supply chain and ultimately customers. We're seeing as they get that data out, they're looking to do other things with it beyond just sustainability and getting more just in time through the supply chain. They're also applying generative AI to connect dots, find knowledge graphs, and find outcomes or find causals to why outcomes aren't being achieved or what they need to do different to achieve outcomes. So AI is creating new ways to get business outcomes for companies with that data. It's adding context they've never had before, because most of the data that comes from plant floors is obscured pretty deeply in engineering speak. And generative AI and large language models is allowing for that data to get pre-contextualized more simply. And frankly, it's widening the aperture of people that can get access to the data, do something smart. We're expanding the possibility of what to do with the data and the systems to create new value across the enterprise. Now, one other insight you'll see in the report is, as you get more data, more insight, more action, more outcomes, you've compounded this with cyber risk in that you've suddenly exposed data and exposed potential IP. So both exposing data and getting new outcomes and managing that in a cyber secure manner is a juxtaposition a lot of companies are working through, and coming to companies like Rockwell to figure out how they get help with that. Because while they're trying to get more data to get more outcomes, and they're trying to get more secure, they have less and less talent with domain expertise in the space to do it. The next generation of talent they're finding doesn't have legacy system knowledge and engineering knowledge of how these systems work together. So more data, need to get more secure with less domain expertise and less talent. You put all those together and they're looking for help.
Yeah, that's very clear. And very, I mean, we see that, and I love the findings of this smart manufacturing report, because it really represents what we can hear in our conversation with CEOs, executives, and also in conference, in the events that I attend often globally. It happened, and in the discussion that we have in social media, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and that basically there is a need to discuss how we protect, how we create, as you mentioned, the future in terms of technology to be future-proof, and also at the same time, how to create that environment where we can be upskilling and doing a lot of training for the current employees, and also hiring people with the right training, with the right skills. Now that we say this, I mean, many times here on social platforms, we receive questions from all over the world, people saying, how can I get those skills? Because I want to learn, I want to work in this new environment. So that is very, 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 very important things that you are mentioning. But let's continue talking about the report and also about artificial intelligence. So in the state of smart manufacturing, in the report, you discussed the AI race. I mean, AI race intensifies with the focus be on developing general artificial intelligence capable of surpassing human intelligence on all aspects, or will we see a future where specialized AIs excels in specific tasks, ultimately creating a more collaborative intelligence between humans and machines?
Yeah.
How do you see that?
Yeah, it's funny you ask, Harold. Like 2 years ago at this time, if you asked me what a day in the life looked like, it was a lot of going out and painting a vision for customers around how they could leverage AI to unlock more value and widen the aperture of user. Fast forward 2 years later, and we frankly don't have enough time to engage every customer in practically applying it and doing it. Every single industrial company is leveraging AI right now. And in our report, you'll see companies are saying they're getting the biggest return on investment. The number one right now is software as a service and cloud. And again, a couple of years ago, this would have been a thought leadership topic. Today, it's the highest area of ROI industrial companies are saying they're getting their investment turning into results around, largely because people are making really great applications that the next generation can simply interface with. The second highest level of ROI is in AI. Literally 2 years ago, this was a topic of controversy or conflict. People would say, I'm sick of the AI buzzword. 2 years later, every single industrial company we talk to is making significant investments. And why? The workforce gap has gotten wider. And AI, especially large language models and generative AI and causal inference, make it way easier to get more done with less people and take the people that you have and upskill them. We're also seeing, people say, if I need an ROI around quality or process optimization or supply chain optimization or sustainability, I almost can't do it without AI. And robots and cybersecurity are growingly adopting AI as well. That said, AI is as good as the data that goes in. And I think luckily Rockwell creates a lot of devices. We have tens of millions of devices installed in the world. They create hundreds of petabytes of data every year. and they have tons of context and information that come from it. But knitting that together into a system that can create insight and outcomes with that data requires meaningful investment, meaningful work. It means upskilling the current talent, maybe shifting the type of talent you bring in to have more data science and more programming type of capability. What we're also finding too, besides the big investment going on in AI because of the reality of value it delivers now, is we're seeing companies knit together partnerships and vendor relationships to deliver on ensemble solutions for their plants and their operations. What we're seeing is no single company can deliver all of the value needed to realize outcomes in this space. For instance, we're partnered with NVIDIA and Microsoft because of their chips technology, because of the generative AI. The generative AI integrated with the rest of industrial productivity and enterprise productivity, the Microsoft suite. And we believe knitting some of these partnerships together is going to deliver more value to our customers. We're actively bringing their tech into our products and offers. We're actively going to market together with these partners. And we're seeing as people adopt more and more Microsoft and NVIDIA, they're looking for folks like us to plug in. So I think there's a need to upskill, a need to shift the type of talent you're bringing in, a need to make sure you get your automation data contextualized and ready for this environment, and leverage vendors and partners like Rockwell, Microsoft, NVIDIA to bring this value to you. No one company can do it all.
I think I'm so excited listening to what you are sharing with us, with our audience today, because it's exactly what's happening. I mean, the needs for talent on one side, but also a need to have the right talent at the right time with the right skills. And also at the same time, there is a huge real trend right now to build that ecosystem of partners, the ecosystem of partnerships. And you mentioned the brands that you're working with. I mean, the Rockwell is working together. So bringing these products and services from other brands maybe, but as you mentioned, you said very well, this is something that it's a reality check because not one single company can do everything. So that's why we need this ecosystem of partnership of working together to make things happen, but also to provide the right products that the customer needs. So that is a fascinating thing that we are experiencing right now because the collaboration is a huge work in this environment, this ecosystem of partnership. Let's talk about the future of operation. And digital transformation is a topic that we were discussing the last few years. So for some it was like a buzzword only. For some people were like, oh, well, we mentioned everything in digital transformation, so no, let's explain better what the meaning of digital transformation is. But the truth is that we are in a constant process of transforming, of digital transformation, and in particularly for when we talk about manufacturing. The future of manufacturing with AI is incredibly exciting, as we were talking about. As these technologies become more sophisticated, and you mentioned a lot of applications created every day, everywhere, but as these technologies become more sophisticated, we will likely see a fascinating shift in the human role within factories. The question becomes, will future factories require a skeleton crew, or will humans and AI become a powerful, collaborative force? What do you believe the future of operations will look like?
Well, that's a tough question and somewhat controversial when you think about, the concept of displacing people and jobs with robots and AI. But I do think the future is exciting and I'm optimistic about what it means for labor and work. Mm-hmm. And especially as we've started to see some of these trends go from thought leadership concepts and even buzzwords into reality. The pilot purgatory is starting to turn into people scaling solutions that create real value. It's actually coming to life today. It's real now. And we believe automation and AI, at its core, will expand human possibility and enable people to get more done, more securely, more safely, and get out of repetitive, dark, dirty, dangerous work into the most creative problem solving. Now, I think that's going to yield the need for change management. This isn't the first time technology has driven change. when I've read, when the horse and buggies were there, there's a whole industry, cottage industries around aspects of horses and buggies. And when the automobiles were getting introduced, there was this big uproar of, the horse and buggy industry dying and people being out of jobs. And what's funny is, fast forward 100 years, clearly the automobile industry created more jobs than the horse and buggy industry ever had. There's research that proves time and time again, big technology disruptions yield more jobs in the tail end than they take away. This will be no different. I think Microsoft's done a really brilliant job of branding their AI offer as Copilot. The idea being AI is not replacing the human's job. It's rather their buddy on the side, giving them inside superpowers they didn't have before and simplifying some aspect of the experience, widen the aperture of user, making it easier to connect dots that we couldn't without the AI. I really believe we're expanding human possibility, not destroying full markets of jobs. And even then, let's say we were able to automate every single aspect of a manufacturing line. If you come to Milwaukee at our headquarters, we have a manufacturing line. We've attempted to make practically lights out. We've tried to have robots and automation tackle every single piece of the line. And guess what? There's absolutely humans in the facility. We have IT people, we have maintenance people, we have people optimizing production, we have people working on AI to get to the next process optimization. So there's no such thing as true lights out. We believe humans will always be a big part of industrial manufacturing.
You could say it better. I think it's great how you say it, because there is a fear that is everywhere about, computers, machines will replace human jobs, as it was said. And also, how can we avoid that, or if we have to avoid it? And there is also, we also have some stats that say that more than 90 million new jobs will be created. So some jobs will disappear, no doubt, but more jobs will be created, yes. And that is what we say all the time, and we repeat it everywhere on social media, or when we are in conferences, in every single opportunity we have, is that we need to get the right skill. We need to find the right talent, but we need also to create the opportunities for people all over the world to be able to get those skills. To be trained, to receive skills. So it's also that we in the industry, in technology industry, and we talk about automation, and as you also very well mentioned about the change management process and means right now, we need also to create this conscience and to create and to facilitate the availability of training for these skills, for these new jobs that are going to be available soon. That's right, because the future is here, right? There's something that is moving very fast, particularly what we experienced the last 2 years with OpenAI, generative AI, is that now it's everywhere. Everybody knows something about AI and knows also that this can really change the way that we do business, can change the way that we live, the way that we communicate, and the way that we learn too. Education is also impacted. It's business, education, all our personal lives impacted by artificial intelligence, and also going to be impacted more in the future.
You said it well. And back and read the report, you'll see the industrial companies that submitted their data told us the same thing you just said. They're investing in new technologies, not only to get productivity and outcomes, they're also trying to be more relevant as an employer for the next generation of talent. And they're also focusing heavily on upskilling existing talent to be ready for what's next. So it's sort of a push-pull. They're making sure they're ready and their employees are ready, and they're widening the aperture of talent they attract into their facility, because the next generation of talent wants to work in a place that's exciting, has simple interfaces, and where they can get meaningful work done.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome to hear. Quick question about remote working. We need people, as you said, in the facilities and working on the manufacturing, in the on-site. But also there is a possibility for people who are all over the world to learn the skills and to work for companies, even if they live in another country. Is that correct? Is that something that, what's your thought about this?
Well, I think you're right, Harold. I think we're going to have a balance of people on site, especially in manufacturing. You don't make electricity or pharmaceuticals or food products in the cloud yet, right? These things are made in equipment, with physical goods, and that requires maintenance, that requires quality inspection. And that means humans on site it's probably always going to be important. That, and I think if we can get the data contextualized, get it securely up and out of the facility into a secure cloud and into secure software as a service SaaS applications, you absolutely unlock the ability of a much wider pool of talent providing value to your enterprise. And we, in the last few years, acquired Flex, which is a software as a service-based MES and ERP platform, as well as Fix, which is a software as a service-based maintenance management platform. And it was in the pandemic, and what shocked us was the number of industrial companies ready to move from on-premise software to cloud-based software. Not because nobody was telling them to move to cloud. They needed to give their skilled workforce access to the plant when they were at home, when they were sick, when they were traveling. And then they found they could bring in domain expertise from places that weren't local to a manufacturing facility to add value to their facility. So there'll always have to be a balance. And we're seeing a massive trend to enable more of a global workforce, plugging in domain expertise, thanks to things like scalable cloud, secure cloud, and software as a service application.
That's a big topic also about cybersecurity. When we talk also about, as you very well said, the future of technology, we need to be future-proof. And in terms of technology, cybersecurity is a huge topic to consider. And also we think furthermore about quantum computing, we also need to think that we need to be prepared for that. Because nowadays there are some we are not thinking, or maybe that much, or we need to think more about how we get ready for quantum computing, right?
For sure. Yeah. In the cyberspace, I think just about every company has tried to tackle security with their traditional business systems and software and their traditional IT infrastructure and, the devices they deploy across their enterprise. The production space, or what some call the OT space, the operations technology space, has always been a bit of a mystery and certainly a challenge for most companies in that you tend to have more legacy software and systems, especially with more of the on-premise software, that you tend to use old Windows XP that's out of support, or you use maybe legacy network protocols that are inherently not secure. So there was a paradigm years ago where the plant was designed presuming nobody could ever touch what was going on inside from an IT standpoint. You wouldn't let contractors come in. You wouldn't let, the edge to get plugged into the cloud. In the last couple of years, that also has flipped around where, in the IT space, we're deploying zero trust to presume devices and systems and users need to be regularly re-authenticated so that we know we're giving them the right data and access. That's starting to proliferate down into the plant floor, all the way down to the edge, because people are starting to use mobile devices to tap and authenticate and interact with the plant floor. They're using gateways to get data out of the plant floor. And suddenly the plant went from a highly trusted environment to a zero trust environment. And we're supporting that. We're putting more and more cybersecurity capabilities in the devices and the network infrastructure and the compute infrastructure. But we're finding too, IT companies generally don't have the domain expertise in how to manage that zero trust experience in the plant floor. We have acquired a couple of companies, and we built quite a capability around a security operations center. We have a global SOC and a global OT cybersecurity team in partnership with companies like Fortinet and Clarity and Cisco and a few others, so that we can help companies go from managing IT security very well to also plugging in the OT security piece and having that work really well with their IT security. We're not alone in doing that, but it's a gap most companies need to address sooner than later.
Absolutely, and thank you very much also for pointing this. Is absolutely a need that we need to consider, that companies need to have their policy and create a culture of cybersecurity. They create a culture of upskilling and a culture of sustainability also. As you mentioned, it's a top priority in the smart manufacturing report. So it's something that is not just a nice thing to have right now, as you were mentioned, also mentioned before, is that companies has this requirement as a top priority, sustainability. And we're going to be more than excited. 20 years ago, we were not talking here so much as we are doing right now about sustainability.
Well, you brought up quantum computing too, and I have to offer my point of view. It is a very exciting space. The concept of adding a whole new dimension of compute power and solving problems we've never been able to solve before. It does seem like we're, I don't know, years or maybe decades away from that being applied at scale in the industrial space. And we can be surprised. This could go faster. But what we see happening right now is a rapid adoption of parallel computing GPUs to take all this data and derive outcomes and insights much faster. This is a big reason why we partnered with NVIDIA at the next level. We've been using NVIDIA chips for some time. They run all of our auto robots, for instance. But we're looking to expand how we leverage that compute to create more secure AI outcomes for our industrial customers. The progress they're making in the GPU front to serve AI is truly world leading. Yeah, and it's really exciting to see how GPUs can get a lot of value out of data. And sometimes it looks like they're breaking physics too, and how far they can go, how fast with additional compute power. It's not quantum computing yet, but I would say NVIDIA is leading the charge in getting to that level of performance faster.
These topics are exciting, and it's great to be having this conversation that we can have for hours, and we should continue talking about this because it's very enlightening. I would say that before we wrap up and we finish, the Smart Manufacturing Reports is available for everyone who wants to download it. Something that we're going to do is we're going to share the link so for all our audience to make sure that everyone can download the report, and it's available in the link that we're going to also share in our comments here in our channel, and it's available, of course, and that will be in the Rockwell Automation website too. So, Andrew, is that correct?
Yeah, we'd love to share that report, and we'll share a few other links around NVIDIA and Microsoft and some of the advancements we see happening in industry as well. That'd be great. I would offer, sometimes these topics can feel kind of nebulous and confusing. Like, what does this mean for me? And if I were to give advice to somebody on where to start and where to go from there, my best advice is to, one, don't wait. Regardless of where you are in your journey, start from where you are and start now. Your competition isn't waiting. Today's preferred employers are not going to be tomorrow's preferred employers if they don't invest and grow their technical capability and leverage modern capabilities like AI to get to the next step and create more productivity and simpler access to data. But the best way to get started, no matter where you are, is I think start a small team, cross-functional team that's diverse to get the biggest challenge and opportunities on the table. Pick one or two and with high ROI and high yield, and start a pilot or a use case. Define your architectural needs, go and build that pilot and scale it. And I think what we've been shocked by is we've started across our company more than a handful of pilots in the AI space. The ROI a couple of years ago would have been nebulous, and we had a lot of projects get stuck in pilot purgatory. In a short amount of time, that's gone from pilot purgatory to almost every pilot project we're running into needing to scale faster because of the value it's delivering faster than we had anticipated. It went from idea to reality in a very short amount of time, especially when you're working with companies like, not only us, but Microsoft and NVIDIA. I mean, the domain expertise and the pace of innovation and real value creation is pretty shocking. The journey doesn't have to be perfect. Frankly, it's more important you start and stub your toe and learn from that than try to make it a perfect program. And even if you have pilots going, we're finding bringing in new vendors and partners can accelerate the effort. Rockwell does have a standard process we go through. We welcome manufacturers of all sizes to come and join us and work with us to to get their initiatives off the ground or moving faster or injecting new ideas, no matter where you are in your journey. We do have depth of experience across many industries, many different regions, and many tech stacks to help people go faster. So feel free to engage us and our partners.
That sounds absolutely awesome. And again, Andrew, thank you very much for your time and for sharing this. And more than welcome with your comments and suggestions that are absolutely very insightful.
Thanks for having me again, Harold.
My pleasure.